Yo, and we're live again. What's up, my dudes? How we all doing
Hello,
today?
hello.
Okay, so once again, welcome to Sentai Wrap Up once more. Now, today specifically, we're going to talk about mecha and stuff like that. But first things first, I am your Henshin. I'm just here to keep all the Zenkai hype going. And with me always is my good friend Mark. So, welcome,
Hello,
Mark.
hello. How are you doing today?
I is doing pretty good. Yeah, nothing really to complain about. Weather a little bit hot. Work as usual. But other than that, how have you been, good sir?
Not too bad. It's hot. It's
Yeah,
the British time that we complain.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so hot.
It's either we're too cold or we're too hot, and everyone's like, that's not even close to.
I know, right?
Yeah, British are just not prepared for normal weather really in general. And I've got ice cream.
Oh, horrible stuff.
Okay, so yeah, let's go straight into it. So today specifically, we're going to be talking about all the mechas that have recently appeared in this particular episode of Zenkaiger. Now,
Yep.
the episode itself is featuring general combat between Zenkaiger and Twokai-Oh. So, not Zenkaiger, Zenkaiser.
Senkai guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's basically
Zenkaiser.
not Kaija. It's
Yeah,
Geyser.
yeah. Right. Yeah, Zenkaiser versus Twokai-Oh. Now,
Yep.
in like the spirit of that, we're literally just going to compare all of the Zords that we've seen so far in this particular series, or should I
Mm,
say Mecha, or Robo, depending on, I don't know. There's loads of different names for these guys, and like Power Rangers, where it's like a specific name tailored to them.
yeah.
But yes, we're going to go through them all. So obviously we've got so far we've got four of them for the actual team, even though with different modes, and we've
Yep.
also got the Battle Caesar Robo, which we don't know exactly what's happened with, if that's just gone now, but we'll find out soon. So before we get on to just discussing that, I'm going to switch to this so we can have a look at it all. Oh, I'm in a weird position. So, um, yeah, let's go over through that, shall we? First things first. What one of these do you think would win in a fight, Ellen?
um, I think it would be Ricky. He would. He's way faster than the others.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna move myself, so I'm a little bit not taking as much space.
That's fine. Yeah, it'll be Ricky's version because he's super fast. He seems to be a bit more nimble. Where if you have the other one, the other version mode,
Yeah,
I think that he has more power because he's a lot slower.
that's true.
Um,
Sorry, I've just got my ice cream
yeah,
here.
that's fine, don't worry. And then I think the others aren't too bad, but I think Ricky would take it to it, and then the other one, the middle one, literally no. I
No,
think it's
yeah.
too weak. It would die.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's even lasted this long, honestly, because really, Battle Caesar Robo has really just sort of been there when things are a little bit too, outweighed. So in a
Mm,
versus fight, I can't imagine it actually doing that well. I mean, we've seen this special attack in the episode before, and we've got to see it again. Kind of useless, obviously,
yeah.
up against two Kaio Ricky, but yeah. Personally, I think Zenkaiger Vroom Majin is actually the best of combination out of the lot
Mm,
because it's the most tricky. It's got the magic essence and it's got the speed essence. If you're just like doing a one-on-one fight without any abilities, then obviously um, Twokai-Oh, Katana, and Zenkai-Oh, Gao, Zhuang Gao would be a
mm,
lot more of a competitor. However, both Rune Majin and Ricky have really powerful like secondary attacks, and they're a lot
mm,
more abundant. So obviously, you've got the magic ability, which literally could be anything.
yeah.
You've got the speed ability involved as well, which works extra well with Gowon as well. But then with Ricky, you've got the Gatling gun, you've got the crocodile absorption attack, which basically makes projectiles practically useless.
Yeah.
But then you've also got its speed, as you said, and its martial art ability. So it is like an all-rounder, that one. So if anything, the top competitors would be the best to see against each other because there's so much about them. Um, yeah. Do you agree with that at all, my
Um,
dude Mark?
I can see the magic and the bit of the speed, but I feel that if you went against them, so if the Ricky version like started running up to them, I think they'd freak out a bit. So I think
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you get a bit of a disadvantage. But I do think it's more kind of like Ricky's version can jump up and actually utilize more of his body more than, let's say, the others, where the others are very kind of limited to how they walk.
yeah.
Magic does obviously give it 10 times more power, but I still think from like you could literally have Ricky from a long period of time, like standing back and then firing on at them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is true. That is true. I mean, to be fair, Rumajin does have a projectile weapon too, because it's a pickaxe, but they also have it as a sort of gun, don't they?
Yeah, but the thing is, even if you're firing off a few blasts, you've got a massive Gatling gun that can fire faster than them going pew 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 pew
True,
pew.
true. So yeah, I think Twokai-Oh is a good mirror of the other two.
Mm,
The Zenkai-Oh, because when you look at them like this, you can see that there's similar, ideas in mind for them. You've got the melee fighters on your left hand side as we got here, and then you've got your long range and like more technical abilities on your right hand side next, right
yeah.
underneath you. So yeah, it is like a good a mix up. Then you
Mm.
have Battle Caesar Robo. It basically has nothing.
It's trash. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like a quick fix. I'm hoping that with the events of today's episode, or shall we say the episode that's come out most recently, we'll have that new Robo to replace it or something, because
Mm.
Iljiru does seem like he's got other plans in motion, and I'm hoping that's his other plan. But yeah, it's difficult to say. Um, there is a little theory I would like to run by everyone when we
Okay.
get through to it. However, for now, you're fixed on that. So who would be the first one to go apart from Battle Caesar Robo? Because I think it's safe to say his abilities and his actual like skills are probably lesser of the whole bunch.
I would probably say Machine and Run.
Oh
I think,
really? The complete
yeah,
opposite.
yeah, and no, only because I feel like because we've not really seen a lot of them in battle type thing. Like, it's always just being very quick that they do over. But I
Yeah,
think if you're doing it, if I think they'd get overpowered. I think Durin and Garon would literally like fight to the death. Where I
yeah,
think that if you took out Machine quite and Run quite quickly, the other it would just go down.
yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of hard putting them against each other because yeah, we've seen both more of Cortana and Ricky than we have of the others properly fighting, and you've not seen like the full ability. I think that if they were separated in their own modes, I think that'd be a bit different. But for now, I think yeah, Vrun and Majin would pretty much go down quite quickly.
See, I find that interesting because I think the one that's probably the weaker of the bunch is Zenkai Katana. Because although
Mm-hmm.
he does have great abilities with a sword, his actual secondary abilities are almost non-existent from what I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least with Juran and Gawon in their combination, they can switch between the sword and shield and the claw has a great effect in a battle with close range. So the sword's good for like technical fights, as is Zenkaiyo. But I think if they were to switch out and use a more sort of like wild tactic, as it were, I think Katana might struggle a bit. But then again, the samurai does give him that foot in. But at the same time, I don't know. It's one of
Mm-hmm.
those things. But I definitely would say Katana because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the other ones have unique abilities and unique skills that could easily overpower that form.
Mm.
So yeah, that's my vote for that. It'd be nice to see everyone else's thoughts on this. Um, but yeah, I think it's also interesting how we actually see, in the new episode, how it actually switches between forms. Because I always wondered if it was going to be as simple as this, or if it was just going to be like, I'm going to have to untransform first. Oh, and then we can use this form, so let's go back together, that sort of thing. So it's good to see that sort of switch.
Yeah, I liked it when it span round. I think that kind of reminded me a lot of Lupin versus Passo Ranger at the same time. God damn ice cream. Put it in the bin. Ugh.
I launch it.
Just all over the walls.
But yeah,
Um,
sorry, continue.
that's fine. Yeah, I think it was good. It span round. So I generally kind of thought it reminded me of Lupin Ranger versus Passo Ranger, where it just turns over
Yeah.
and he's combined differently. So yeah, kind of liked it. It was good. That's how I would imagine. But yeah, at first I can see how it'd be like discombine and then have to reform. That was another kind of thought I was thinking, would it do? But luckily it didn't this time, which is really good.
Yeah. Now, I know we both have our preferences and which forms we like from Twokai-Oh, but since you mentioned about Lupin and Pataran X and its various combinations with similar effect to this one,
Mm.
which one do you like best? Twokai-Oh or the other?
Oh, it's all Ricky's version. He looks the coolest one because I don't know. It looks like it will mess you up if you went into a bar fight with it.
Yeah.
Where the other one, it just dances, and it's more like, oh, I'm slowly going to take you out. And you're like, no, 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 Ricky, you started this. You can win this.
I kind of agree with you because the one thing I realized now, the actual show version, I like. It really, really looks good. Even the tall, big-headed
Mm,
Pataren mode that it has. But when I had the toy, one thing I noticed is the part that makes the head is just
mm,
a completely separate part. Twokai-Oh may have parts that come apart because of Ricky and Katana, but generally it's all stuff that's given its position. It's not like you can't. It's not something you can't imagine detaching and then
mm.
reattaching sort of thing. Because that's some of the problems with older Sentais is that it's cool how they can combine together, but sometimes they just take parts and gone.
Yeah.
It was really one of those things where you just thought, really, can you make it a little bit better? But I think that's the result of us being, you know, we've seen really intelligent designs, haven't we, Mark? I don't know if you've seen some of the Megazords you may have collected where there's no part wasted or there's always a place for something, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there is always a place, and that's absolutely fine. I just kind of think that it's like building blocks. Everything has to be in the right order.
Yeah,
So it'd be interesting to know if, like, say, you could take this and combine it with the others, if there's going to be something special. But I feel like there could be auxiliary Zords later. But yeah, everything is its own slot, which is quite good. So I just like the look of them. I want to buy them all. I'm going to buy
yeah, it is good. It is good. Okay, so I think it's fair to say we definitely have differing opinions about who would be the best mecha.
them.
Right. Now, can you imagine what we could possibly see next, Mark?
I would imagine auxiliary Zords would be the next thing. If we're talking Zords and stuff, auxiliary Zords would be the next. I think you'll see a. I think you'll see something that will combine them together at some point. But it'll be something like because if the series is like saying, "Hey, look at all these mecha," you have to have an auxiliary Zord because that's part of it, and hand in hand.
Yeah.
Brachio from Aber Ranger, Gokaiger, you had the Mac Falcon, where
Yeah.
it combined. So I think we're going to see something like that. If they don't, I'd be very surprised because it's, hey, brand new toys.
Exactly. 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 But yeah. What do you think would actually be the theme? Like, we may not know exactly what ranger, but I think themes are something that kind of appear now. So, well, obviously we figured out the basics. We've got Zenkaiser represents this particular team and its essence, much like Gokaiger did its own.
Mm,
You have Juran featuring for dinosaurs. You have Gowon featuring for animals. You've got Majin, who obviously magic, can't really go wrong with that one. It's pretty much the only magic Sentai as
mm,
well, I think. Well, actually, some of the older ones may have that little twist to them. And then you've also got the vehicle theme being used by Vroom. Then obviously Ricky and Katana, those are more sort of warrior essence basically.
Mm.
You've got the Egyptian, but overall they are more warrior types. What do you think would be outstanding and worthy enough to be used in the next mecha that's released?
Ninjas.
Ninja, oh yeah.
That's literally the only things that we've seen in all of Sentai. It's either ninjas, vehicles, magic. Or okay, one season I had magic.
Yeah.
You can't really go pirate themed because you've just literally got an entire ranger that is ninja. So
Yeah.
either they go through and have a Gokaiger element, but my biggest thing would be I'd reckon it would be ninjas. Always ninjas. Everyone loves ninjas.
Yeah. I'm thinking more space theme. That's my
Mm.
guess. Because of the fact that, I mean, for us, obviously, we had Power Rangers in space, but for them it was Mega Ranger. But it's the only season I can imagine really having a good application amongst all of these different Sentais. I
Mm.
mean, because some of the favorites like Geki Ranger, even perhaps sorry, not RPM, Go Onja, and you got other things such as like, Aber Ranger and stuff like that. Some of these themes are just sort of reoccurring, and although there is some difference to them, they're still quite similar to who we've already got. So Twokai-Oh could get away with doing Katana and Ricky because although they're kind of more warrior based, they are still different themes. Like Egyptian doesn't
Mm.
really have that warrior vibe. It just happens to be what our Ranger is. So I think that's the best guess. Unless they do sort of like mystical rather than magic, which would
Mm.
be Dire Ranger. Um, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. What do you think of that?
Space ninjas.
Oh,
uh,
forgot. Yeah, it's either going to be that or police because we've got SPD and that's a very popular season.
yeah,
So
yeah.
space or police. That's what I think.
Space police ninjas.
It wouldn't surprise me. That is very good.
Yeah.
That would be a weird but brilliant combination, I would say. Um,
I reckon
yeah,
it would. I think you've got some some good ones that pop up. I think it's more what present. So if like SPD or Deca Ranger was really amazing, then I think you'd have something. But I think it also kind of has to fit in with the show.
yeah, true.
So it's more. I don't see any sort of what is it? I don't see anything like police add-on type
No,
thing.
yeah,
So I imagine it would be something. I don't know. I imagine it would be some sort of animal or something like a dinosaur
maybe,
or
yeah.
a kangaroo. I can see that a jumping ninja space police kangaroo. I think that would be it.
That would be funny. Okay, let's move on to the episode review of episode 14. Now, if this was, as we've said before, is generally a versus kind of episode, so we see more of a conflict between, well, not even a conflict, it was just a sort of battle, which obviously spanned out a bit differently. So you had
Yeah.
Zenkaiser facing against Twokai-Oh, but the thing I loved about it is that Stacey implemented it because it seemed like the bad guys just really wanted to, make an opportune moment of this little like clash between them.
Mm.
But yeah, ended up backfiring against Stacey's, and they already figured out that they're gonna be double crossed, so they double crossed him. Now, what did you
Yeah.
think of this particular episode?
For the first part, it is mainly thing of like, oh, you if you do what I say, possibly you'll be okay. You can eat the ice cream. It's more than okay. You can
I'm
eat
not
the
looking
ice
at
cream.
the ice cream. Honestly, it's not down there.
Use again. Oh God, I don't want that ice cream.
I put my foot on the controller that I've underneath. That's why. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think it was more like we're going to double cross. It's 100% it's going to happen again. Like
Yeah.
it's a bad guy. Oh hey, you give me what I want. Destroy the main character of the show, and I'll possibly give you what you want. Okay, sounds like a win-win. Haha! I decided to beat you right there. Oh darn! Didn't see that coming. Like, I knew. I
Yeah,
knew.
thank
It
God I
was,
didn't do that.
no, but I knew it was coming. Like the second I was like, he's gonna double cross. and I'm glad it happened. I was very kind of interested in that one.
Yeah, I think this episode should have been titled "The Fall of Stacy" because he
Yeah,
really got beat bad. Oh, it's so funny.
I would have
Uh,
clickbait. I would have clickbaited. One of my friends says, "I'm going to name my video "The Death of Kaito," and I would have gone with that. I would have gone Zenkaiger no more, and left it at that, and then see what happens. I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of abilities in this episode as well, which I thought was really cool. We'll go through those in a moment. But did you think the episode was more centered around Stay Caesar, or did you think it was more to do with Two Kaiser again?
It's another Two Kaiser episode. It feels like Stacy, and I was thinking about this the other day, which I'll make a video on. But I feel like Stacy again is being underused, where it's more
Yeah,
like he was presented at the very beginning with all this power, and it's like, oh my god, you're such a bad character. You're good, bad guy, not as in like bad written, but he's like a bad guy, and you think it's like Kaito's rival, so he
yeah,
pop up everywhere and be a massive dick to people. But it's like, what have we seen him in? He's been in quite a few episodes, but always at the bad guy's base. Not like,
yeah.
hey Stacy, you want to get out there and prove your worth? You can recreate the past teams. Go for it. And
Yeah,
it's not. And I'm just like, oh,
yeah. You know what? I think he's actually been set up, like I mean, built up. Because
mm,
he's had all these powers straight off the bat. He's been given story elements, but not full story elements, if that makes sense.
mm,
But then he's either going to be set up to be an even stronger foe, or he's going to end up joining a team and becoming some form of Zenkaiger.
yeah. If that's the case, that's what I would kind of do. It's like, yeah, he's being built up, and
Yeah.
it'll be something like in let's say 5 episodes where it'll be like, you're useless, Stacy, get out. No, Dad, no, get out, Stacy. I'm gonna go join the Zenkaigers, and then his entire costume changes because he's got the power. Because he'll probably have some gears that no one else has got,
Yeah.
and then it'll be like, boom, and it'll be like, I bet his costume turns white. That's
Oh,
it.
that'd be
I'm
cool.
gonna, yeah, it'll be something
I
like
mean,
that.
it would suck for Zenkaiser, but
Yeah, yeah.
unless he
Or
just ends up being a Purple Ranger.
he could do. I think they'll change his helmet or something because it'll be
Yeah.
more menacing, and I reckon he'll get a brand new morphing sequence too.
Okay, so if we're talking about him possibly being a Ranger, which theme or particular Sentai do you think he'll represent most? Because I have an idea of where it might be, but I want to know what yours is.
I think they're going to go with what he's designed with, so it'll be Battle Fever 5, Battle Fever J. I think. I
Yeah.
reckon they'll keep it, or Akiba Ranger, the unofficial Sentai. I would so love that. I'd be like, do you know what? Well played, guys. Well
Yeah.
played.
See, now I think the closest thing that he could possibly be is actually Go Onja. Now hear me out here. The reason for that is two facts. He's human and he's part machine. Part machine essence is generally to do more with Go Onja because of the engine world. Also, because he's the mixture of those two, and the vehicles featured in that show are a combination of an animal with a
Mm.
car or a vehicle, it would make the most sense for him to be representing Go Onja if he did become a ranger.
To be fair, I can see that. That would be quite cool. I would imagine that if they change him slightly a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I think that's a very good analysis of him.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the possibilities.
Mm,
There is other Sentais that I worry about not going to get featured well. Like, obviously we've got the Ninja theme, which should really, really happen, because of both Ninja being so enjoyed by some, Ranger fans especially,
mm,
and also you've got Hurricaneja, which is one of the most popular. But you've also got to consider that there's stuff like Tokyuja that's not really going to be highlighted much. You've got other things like Time Ranger is a good contender, but I'm wondering how they would actually fit that in.
mm.
And there's a lot of pre-Ranger stuff that not really seen anything representing them fully. Like Jetman, that might have been a good one to do because that's all
Yeah.
aerial based, but because of space and stuff, it feels like that just gets over. You got space and here's
I'm
jets. So
so glad it wasn't space and then jets.
but Yeah, that's the only thing I worry about. It's just like certain teams just don't seem to get that representation much. Now, I don't
Yeah,
know if that's because of Super Sentai fans and how they affect the show, because of their favorites and how popular some of the series are. But still, I do hope that they get some form of representation. I mean, even Kaiser, you couldn't really have a Lupin versus Pato Ranger representation because not only is it an early season,
mm,
sorry, it's more a recent season, but also you got the issue where it's already sort of done with Kaiser being gold and silver in one. So that's
yeah.
the only thing I
I
think of.
Yeah, I imagine it would actually be that maybe the representation is the fact that the Zord changes, like how quick it is compared to like say others where it's like they just sort of, like come apart and then come back
Yeah.
together, where it's just literally spin ready to go. But then maybe not every single season needs representation in
Oh
it.
no, no, no! I like a good mix because
Mm,
there's so many different themes. Like Go Go 5, I didn't even think of that the first time, and yet now I think about it, it really could deserve representation, especially like if Zenkaiger ever turned into a Power Rangers.
mm,
Lightspeed Rescue was one of the strongest seasons, and it gets underestimated and looked over so often. It's just one of those like insane seasons that no one really
yeah.
watches properly. Also, debuting first Power Rangers exclusive Ranger, so
Mm.
just throwing that
I
out there. Um,
I th- I think that'd be really cool if two Kaiser used the gear and they used that one. Like they just went over to Hasbro or and was like, hey, can you send us the titanium range suit? Or they recreated it and
yeah.
just just like, oh, could you use that? And be like, yeah, no problem. Like, and then they put it in. I would. Do you know what? I think that would be the highlight of the entire series for me. I'd be like, that's it. That's it. You can't go any higher than using Titanium Ranger.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go through a few images quickly from the favorite from this particular episode and see what we can think. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that we've highlighted. So let's go back because this is way. Oh, okay. So the little confrontation with Stacyza proposing to Zox about this offer. Could he get any closer?
Yeah, it's just like right in the face. It's like, hey, do you want to do something for me? Do you want to take it up? Or it's just like literally, it's just, hey, want to do something for me, please?
Yeah, that
And
was
you
a
just,
weird camera. You could tell like he had no intention of helping whatsoever. Oh, is that Thomas that just came through? Sorry.
it is Thomas. I saying hello, and we have Vanessa, but
Oh, she said,
this
"This
is
is Erin. I am 9."
and
Oh, hello, Erin.
there we
Yeah,
go.
sorry. I think I had the thingy covered over that. So sorry, guys. But yeah, I thought that was quite a weird moment. But what can you do? What can you do? Um,
It, it's
yeah.
it's just so weird. Like you just want to kiss, just kiss. Go on, just kiss, guys. And that's it.
What about the transformation sequence? The way it had both of them shooting up. Now, I thought it was always going to be front ways, so it was kind of different to see them shooting up instead. And it wasn't even a proper morph, but then again, they kind of like to save that for a really good epic moment, don't they?
Yeah, like the double, like the morphin thing. You just know that they don't need to do the whole like dance or whatever. It was just literally like boom, like I don't know, like it was over in one go. It's like a quick morph, and that's what I was kind of like more for. That's what I kind of guessed what would happen later on in the series,
Yeah.
where it's like. We don't want to do the dancing. We're a bit bored of this, so let's just use this. And it's like, boom, boom, done.
Mhm.
So I liked it, but I noticed um, when they morph, they do it in time now, so an entire team up. So when Zox does his like little dance thing,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
others finish theirs off by the time he finishes. So I was like, that I'm okay with. That I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah, I really like Zoxmorph. Like, if once I get the actual changer that he has, I really want to try it out. Like, ding ding. Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da. But yeah, it was good to see that. Now I'm getting a little ahead of here, so before we go straight over into more of this, because I feel like we should actually highlight the abilities first. So the first one we saw was Live Man, represented by the sword that he uses in that series as oh sorry, I got a little far. And I think they said that that particular Sentai was like he had the ability. He's like a really fast swordsman. Do you think that Live Man was represented well?
Yeah, like the live man sword thing was fine. Um, which I kind of thought. I generally thought he was either going to use that one or O Ranger, and to be fair, anyone that uses a sword. So but I'm glad like they're kind of ciphering through the ones normally, and I think that's the main thing,
Yeah.
rather than use over and over again. So I'm kind of glad that they used the sword. I just felt like Kaito didn't know what it was.
Yeah, there was.
So
They just sort of hope for the best, but it's Sek-chan that sort of decides what they should use anyway.
yeah,
But yeah, I did like the little moment as well. I should probably mention about Yak-chan making that massive spread of food. That was really cool. I was
yeah.
like, I want some.
The thing that really got me for that scene, I was just like, why is it Christmas time? Did we just jump to Christmas?
Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? Okay, so we next one we had was Battlefield for J. Now, I thought this was kind of weird. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I didn't like it.
I mean, it's kind of reminiscent to the time when Gokaiger were trying to get the great power of Car Ranger and then end up just being about traffic safety. That's the kind of vibe I got.
Hmm. Yeah,
Unless, yeah, unless this was a form of indoctrination to make two Kaiser go, oh, I'm gonna try and dance too. But other than
yeah.
that,
I thought it was one of those things of like, oh, dance off, like you prove I'm the better dancer, because at some point they're like, oh crap, we haven't been able to put his Ricky form into doing the whole dance move. We need to put it in this episode. And I was like, I thought maybe that because it was going to go against fighting
yeah.
styles, so it was from different styles of thingy where he was just going to go, oh, bam, bam, dance.
Mhm.
I didn't expect an entire dance off, and I was like, do you know what? I don't like this. That is my favorite part of the episode. I was just like,
Yeah, blimey. So the next ability which is the reason why I switched to this first, is
mm,
because we see Zox use the gear for the Q Ranger, and the one that actually appeared was Minor Kuma Sky Blue. Now, I honestly thought that the gear that would he uses for that would either bring out Ho-Oh Soldier, or
mm,
the more likely, because he was first, is Rue Commander. There we go. I was trying to remember what
mm,
the word for dragon was in Japanese. So you got Rue
yeah.
Commander. So the fact that they chose the little guy who's kind of like overshadowed by the other two adults is quite a nice thing to see.
Mm,
But he does have an overwhelming power, which makes complete sense, because I don't know about you, but if I saw one of a ranger that I happen to be fighting against, perhaps grow that big, I'll be like, no, screw you, see you later. You can have the
I go
planet.
straight for the ankles. Like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. But
Mm.
yeah, I thought that was quite a good ability. Do you agree with that representation?
Yeah, I've never seen this. I've never seen the Space Sentai. So seeing this one, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. Don't judge me for not watching it. So I generally like the fact that he could grow. He could grow big because of that. That made I kind of thought it made sense because I know it was a kid ranger, so I kind of thought him growing. Can you imagine though if they called it was Turbo instead?
They would never they're never gonna reuse Turbo. I'm sorry, but as much as there's fans that really like Blake Foster, uh, and as much as like people sort of remember the movie and stuff like that, it generally is one of those not only just underappreciated seasons, but it's one of those seasons that just didn't do well.
Yeah.
And unlike we have here, I feel like both Justin and the Turbo Rangers are never going to get a nice highlight again, which is a shame because I really love the suits and I enjoyed
Mm,
Justin and I always wanted Justin to come back as an adult.
get out.
But in
Get
terms of
out.
this, I am glad they chose the Kid Ranger. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, this is a get out. Get out. No one likes Justin. No, I was imagining like with Justin growing, so literally you'd see kid Justin and then he'd grow, and then you'd be like, oh, nice reference. But using the kid from the Space Sentai, that's 100% fine. I didn't know he had that ability, but I kind of assumed that he did.
Yeah,
So I was like, let's
yeah.
go with it.
Little backstory. He's based on the minor version of that star system because there's two different systems. There's the Bear minor system and the Bear major system. They're two different Bear systems. He represents a smaller one. There's obviously another Q globe that represents the larger one, and that's the ability he gets.
Mm.
So, little backstory, guys. Okay,
Nice.
now we had Mask Man as an ability. What did you think of the fact that it was a very good sort of like disguise ability? I expected this from Ninja. I was not expecting this from Mask Man.
Yeah, like Mass Man, I don't know because I've never seen the series, so I wasn't too much like up on their power.
Yeah.
But it like if that's the ability, the aura power, I'd be like, do you know what, that makes sense to use it. But I think I probably would have used the teleportation one, and then had like Stacy, had like Kaito come in with a kick or a punch, or super speed or something like that. So he used like to zoom out. But for it to be like, oh hell, we're just using aura power, I was like, do you know what? Fine.
I think, yeah, when I first saw that he got exploded, which we'll go back to in a minute, I honestly, my thought straight away was, oh, that's a mirage, because it does reference Aura Mask to be the light Sentai. So that's the only. I mean, I haven't seen it as well, so that's my best guess because I haven't seen the show either, and there are loads of abilities in that particular show series.
Yeah.
So for Maskman to have this ability and it being a reference to light in general, it did make the most sense for a ploy to pretend to be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if how many more. Yeah, there we go. We got one more. So I think it's one more. So we also seen I could never JAQKQ Jakku. Oh, yeah.
Jacko.
Yeah, Jakku.
Jacko.
Okay, so that particular Sentai, very old. Great way of the ability to use though, because of we get Stacy's are using the gear against them to summon rangers. Kaito has a bad time with them, but then Sek-chan told Rune to tell Zox to use this particular gear, and it granted Big One. Now, what did you think of the ability of Big One?
I was very surprised on this one because it kind of changes the ball game a tad bit, because I generally thought he'd just gain the stick ability and then he'd be able to use it against them, not be able to turn the evil ones around, which then would show that Big One has a very more powerful presence, because we've seen like the other Rangers, like previous ones that wouldn't care, wouldn't listen, but he was able to turn them around. So does that mean, like, say for example, if like Stacy used the Gokaiger, but then Zox used Gokai Red, and thus therefore would turn things around. But I like the fact that they just went, do you know what, we're going to go against you, and we're going to fight. And the way they gave the explanation as well, where even when like Sek-chan was like, he was scared of Big One as well, and it's like, oh, it's not the power, it's the authority.
Yeah.
Because he was a commander. I was like, I like that. That I think that added a lot more to the episode. What did you think about it?
So I honestly think this is one of the best abilities I have seen. Seeing that kind of switch and showing that this particular kind of White Ranger and generally similar to Zenkaiger has that effect, it makes so much sense, and it's one of the things where it's unexpected, so it's even better. So that honestly is one of my favorite things specifically about this ability, is it makes sense. It is one of the most significant parts about Big One, that he commands a team even though he's a late entry. And yeah, it was fantastic. I really loved that. It was great.
It's that walk up as well.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's like I'm going to F you up right now, and I'm like, oh god, what's going to happen? But it's like, I'm now combining with you have the authority. I think that made a bit, 'cause everyone was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So I think that added to it, and I was like, this is the best part of the entire episode to me.
Yeah. Now, going back to what we were saying about the fake death of Zenkaiger. Now, this particular image I wanted to show everyone because I think it's one of the best green screens and scaling I've ever seen. The explosion, the other Rangers on this side, and then Twokai-Oh in a big sort of way over here, and it's a very impressive image. I really thought they did
Mm.
really well with trying to display all that. Do you agree with that, Erlen?
Yeah, I think what they did was rather than have him in a green screen room, they literally took him outside, dragged the green
Yeah,
screen on a fishing wire or whatever, and then just went, "Do you know what? We'll do it," because it felt more. And I'm glad that now that if you can go that size again, a bullet blast isn't a pew, it's a boom type
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, the green screen was nice. I couldn't see any green spill, so I think they must have shot this outside to give it a bit more kind of clarity.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Obviously we've seen about what I just showed, Flint and being surrounded. I thought that was a particular memorable
Mm.
moment for you because you'd be like, no, Flint, but I know you'd be fine.
And it's more memorable, Flint, is when she's on that rock shooting down at people. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was
go girl.
good. I should have took a
Yeah.
picture of that one. So obviously we have Caesar having the tide turned on him and now getting
Yeah.
into his mech. Now, I thought this was quite surprising in a way because I wasn't expecting him to cause that effect. Um, I mean, I would have thought he would have. I don't know. I was expecting the mech just to be cool to him, just to help him, rather than, oh no, I'm having trouble. Better just go to my mech. Like I wasn't expecting
Mm.
that. I would have expected Ilgerud to then go, okay, well now things have progressed a bit more. Maybe we should send in the mech and make it a little bit more likely for success. So,
Yeah.
what did you think of this particular moment?
I didn't really mind it because I knew it was coming. I knew that something was going to happen. I just don't like. I wish this Zord or Mecha was just around a lot more. I feel like it had its dirty. It got dirtied. But it turning up like it looks really cool. Like if they turn that into a toy, I would wholeheartedly buy it.
Yeah, I really wish it had some sort of transformative ability though. Like maybe
Mm,
maybe this is like the basic version and they use the same thing because I liked shoulders because it looks like it could merge in some way with someone. Um, but yeah, I don't know how that would work. If anything, based on what I've seen of people playing around with the toys, it'd be cool if Gowon and Duran became arms and that would attach onto the side. Then
mm,
somehow Majin and Vroon became extensions to the legs, and then Zox and his Crocodile, the head went forward and you had a new head and I don't know, something
mm,
like that. And then the thing went on the back, perhaps, like the
yeah.
bike part. I
Uh,
thought that would really look cool as a combination.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. One thing you mentioned about Ilgerud, though, is I noticed at the end of the episode he turns around and goes like, "Excellent," and I was like, I bet there's a massive plan. I reckon there's
Well, I
another
think he
version.
was, yeah, I think he was more like, oh well, we might as well continue with what I was thinking of before,
Yeah, I
or
reckon.
something to that magnitude, you know.
Yeah, I reckon there's going to be a second version because you just wouldn't spend ages to build the suit just to use it for like 3 episodes and then destroy it.
Yeah,
So I reckon
yeah,
it'll be like, oh, he's so powerful. He's
yeah.
even better.
One of these cool things, though, when I went to show right now, is just how pristine like Sentai's look nowadays. Just seeing in the cockpit and stuff, it just looks so clear and looks so nice. I'm still obviously confused about the way they have the cockpit for Zenkaiser, but I suppose, like we said before, it's just reusing a color scheme.
Yeah. I think that it is very clear and sharp. Obviously, the way that technology and cameras are, like, I don't know way now if you had the cameras used from like say Die Ranger onwards and stuff like that. So I think that it is all about clarity. It's about you want the best quality. Like this will all be almost Blu-ray like standard. But
Yeah,
even when you look at like Two Kaisers Morpher, like the wheels got all the gears. So obviously like the HD version, it picks up everything there, and even you can see the creases in his armor, and even like that when he fell over before, you can see the
yeah,
dirt on his back. and I feel like that's really nice. So the camera angles and camera has completely changed. I think they've just upped their game. I don't think there's any other advantage. And honestly, went with like
Yeah.
red cameras or went to 8 to 12 to a million K.
Even the
No,
lighting is perfect. Like the way it's like it's definitely facing him, so it looks great at an angle. I really love that.
I reckon they've got them in a green screen room. They've got the prop in the middle, and they've got a massive sea of lights, like a
Yeah.
big circle ring. That's what I reckon, because again, yeah, the lighting's really nice.
Yeah.
It's but it works perfectly.
Yeah, there's also a lot of detail where we have this mech fight. So obviously we had the finish and slash, which is really cool. The eyes really stand out. However, the Megazords have always looked really good and detailed. This particular scene really stood out to me more because look at the you got two Kaiser there, fairly not obvious during the night time, but then the others have their eyes like lit up. I thought that was a fantastic effect to have on these guys.
Yeah, I've got I do like it a lot because I mean it just means that if they didn't, it would be dull. But I do like the fact is at night. It'd be cool if Zenkaiger's lights lit up, if he had lights on his helmet. But it really does. Like I think the most one that stands out when looking at the pictures from because they're so bright. But then I think it's the color scheme. Like if you notice if you look at Guyon, his a kind of more of a greeny look.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, yeah. I honestly think that Juran appeared more to me. He's the one that caught my eye, but I think that's because he's in the focal point of the actual shot. So that's the reason why he stood out more to me, I think. But yeah, I think this was really a good addition. And seeing Stacy just downed with Battle Robo Mecha, Battle Caesar Robo on the like just completely dismantled. I mean, I think they did design it with the mind that they're not going to keep it in too long. But at the same time, it's like if you're going to create something, like go big with it. I mean, it's the 45th anniversary, so. But yeah, I thought there was really good shots in this. There was very good scenes. There was really good elements, and very nice episode. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so let's go on to rating it. So, what would you say this episode we should be rated as?
A 4. A 4.
A 4. Yeah, I agree with that. It's a good 4. It's a very solid 4. It's not one you could debate about, in my opinion. But it would be awesome to know what you guys think. But what is the general reasons why? What is the general reasons you give it a 4?
I just think the storyline. I think the story is fine. Like I think there's some things that do let it down. Like I wasn't a big fan of the dancing. I feel like when you're in a heated battle, it's not like, hey, let's have a dance off, woo. I feel like that kind of let it down a bit. I think also the way that Stacy's being used as a character is I think that he's a comic relief backup, as in not like haha, more like I feel sorry for him. I feel like his mecha could have been 10 times better. Like it could have been into a fight long. What about you? What do you give it?
So I give it 4 as well because the only shortcoming in this entire episode is just Battle Caesar Robo. His abilities are not a bit naff. He was generally short-lived anyway, because that's how they really probably seem to have designed him as. But the main thing is that he was just underwhelming in the end. It was brought on to be kind of like a strong foe, and it seemed like they were saving him for a good moment. And then you had this particular episode, and he didn't really amount to anything. He didn't really give us that, clash that we was kind of expecting with the build-up of him appearing. Because he just seemed to like clear up after the bad guys mostly. So it was an underwhelming element which brought down the episode's rating for me.
Yeah,
but the story elements, the fight scenes, the thought they had into the story, I did feel like Kaito wasn't so badly shadowed in this episode by Two Kaiser. Like all of them had their place. So yeah. So, I think that's pretty much everything. Did you want to add anything else to that at all, Aaron?
There is a Super Sentai Zenkaiger and Gokaiger live tour announced in Japan.
Ooh.
So, does that mean that if they're doing the live show, does that mean at some point we're going to get a crossover with Gokaiger, Zenkaiger, and Twokaiser?
That would be so cool. I know that I know that Gokaiger is so popular in Japan. and they're even the actors, they're never gonna have to worry about a job again anytime soon. They can just literally do Gokaiger for the rest of their lives and be content. Well, maybe not them content, but everyone else would be content with them doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really thought that would be really cool to see. But yeah, I think we'll better leave it off there. We'll definitely talk about more Super Sentai stuff and Zenkaiger in the next episode. So in the meantime, so where can we find you on social media, Ellen?
Pretty much as Erlim and on Twitter as Mainstream Live. How about you, fine sir?
And you can find me at Henshin Asset on both Instagram and Twitter. Thank you, my dudes. I hope we'll see you again next time on the next episode. So in the meantime, enjoy the rest of Zenkaiger as we go along and watch it, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.